Been very excited to talk about this because I saw this movie in the theater and I was blown away. I couldn't believe they made this into a movie. And it is Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I was very surprised with this movie. Very, very surprised. It's a 2019 horror film based on the children's books by Alvin Schwartz. Remember the books? I still have them. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, right there. I love that cover with the head and the pipe, and then you got the shack, and then the cemetery over there. Yeah. Oh my God, amazing. And then you have more Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, which is the second book. And you have Scary Stories 3, More Tales to Chill Your Bones. So when I was in school and the teacher would be, trying to teach something, I wouldn't even be paying attention. I'd be reading these. That's what I'd be doing. I love the stories. And stay tuned for an upcoming video where I review these books. I'm going to talk about these books. I'm going to talk about the stories and some of my favorites. So that'll be another video. But this movie took stories from all three of those books. There's the Big Toe Corpse story. There's Jangly Man, which is Mitai Dote Walker. Harold the Scarecrow, which is on the cover there. The Paleface Lady. There's so many cool creatures and ghosts and characters. It's produced by Guillermo del Toro, and the story is about a bunch of kids who explore a haunted house, and they find a book of horror stories, which was written by this girl named Sarah Bellows. Now, it's the Bellows family. That's who owned this house, and Sarah was basically kept in a room, and she would write horror stories. But the girl takes the book, who's part of the kids. She takes the book, and the book starts to write stories by itself, and then the kids start to live what's being written. So let's say the story of Harold is being written. There is a kid that's involved with that story, which is really, really cool. So when the story plays out, they can figure out who's going to die. It's almost like Final Destination in a way, because then they go by the books. Like when they start reading the story, you can tell who's going to be the next to die. A lot of people didn't really care for the kids, and I actually had no problem. The main girl, which is right there, she did a fantastic job. And there is, I believe that's Sarah Bellows right there, the ghostly figure. But I think the kids did their job. It was fine. I don't think they took away from anything. It kind of had I want to say like a Stranger Things vibe sometimes. But that's the basis of the movie, is the stories start to write themselves, and the kids actually have to survive what's being written. And of course it's from the famous stories of the books. And I mean, look, this looks just like Harold from the actual descriptions and drawings. And it's a PG-13 film, but there are some sequences in this movie that would make you think it's rated R. And I'm talking about the Harold sequence. There's a part in here, something happens to one of the kids, and you would think that this movie be rated R because of it. It does some really cool things. And honestly, it's pretty creepy. There's some creepy images. The pale-faced lady, that's the one that always creeped me out, the actual story. But like I said, I'm going to do a video going over the books, and I'm going to show you guys my favorite stories of the books. But this was a damn good movie. I wanted more. I wanted more stories. But hopefully they can make a sequel. Hopefully they can do more of it. I just hope it's going to be as good as this one. This one was awesome. But yeah, I didn't want it to end. I wanted to see more stories that live out through the books. So that's pretty much it. Not really much to say about it. It's a pretty simple idea. The pacing in the beginning starts off a little slow, and then once they get to the house, then it flies. I mean, you know, they have to kind of, I want to say, work up to the fact that, you know, they're going into this haunted house. But other than that, like, I think they did a good job. I love the cinematography. The effects were great. I mean, the creatures themselves looked really cool, especially the big toe lady. The creepy skeleton lady was really, really awesome, which they got that illustration from The Haunted House, which is another story, but the illustration of the girl that walks in to find her big toe, that's actually from another story. So they kind of mixed stories up, but I wish they would do that haunted house story, though. That one was really cool, about the preacher who's sitting there waiting for the ghost to come up the basement steps. That always creeped me out. But anyway, this movie is awesome. Get your hands on it. If you have not seen this movie, I highly recommend it. I think you'd love it. And if you're a fan of the books, I think you'd love it even more. If you have not read the books, those are some books that I recommend. But like I said, I'm going to do a whole video on it, on the books, and get you guys familiar with it again. So, thanks for watching this review.